Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl Mahoney and I blog at marveloustales.com about books and writing. I also have a 5-month-old baby, so lately I've been reading a lot more picture books than I used to. So I've been talking a little bit more about picture books as well. Right now, my baby's still young enough that he doesn't really have a lot of opinions on books. He's just starting to look at the pages. So the advantage of that is I get to read the books to him that I enjoy. I'm sure that will change when he starts having strong opinions and wants to hear the same book over and over, and hopefully it'll be a good one. But for now, I get to decide which ones we're picking up. So today I want to talk about a couple of ones that I've been enjoying, and they're different themes, but they're both ABC books. So here we have you ever seen A Smack of Jellyfish? I don't know that I have. I also never knew that a group of jellyfish were called a smack. It's a new one. So basically, simple concept. Have you ever seen something for each letter of the alphabet? An army of ants, a flutter of butterflies, and so on. And I enjoy this one because it's actually pretty entertaining in terms of, I didn't know it was called a troop of kangaroos, for example. Or, well, there's the cover one, A Smack of Jellyfish. Or what else do we have? A Scourge of Mosquitoes seems like a very appropriate name for it. So that's just kind of entertaining, more as a vocabulary thing than as an alphabet thing. For me, the adult reading it, and hopefully someday it's going to be a good alphabet one for the small baby as well, when he's a little bit less of a small baby. I don't know that it's my favorite art style. It's all this kind of cut out concept, and it's very simple. And it's engaging. I feel like it might be better with like actual pictures, but on the other hand, it's quite different than any of the other picture books I've been reading him. So he may find that interesting in the future too, that it does have a very distinct style. A covey of quails, or a crash of rhinoceros. That's pretty fun. But I like finding out the names of the groups of the animals. I always found that to be just sort of interesting trivia, and it is a pretty fun little book. It's not big on plot or character, but that's okay. It's still a fun little ABC vocab book that's kind of an interesting direction. Now my other one is much more of a theme, really. The ABCs of D&D. So you probably like this one better if you're in the geek fandom realm, if you at least like fantasy. This may be the book for you. My husband and I play Dungeons and Dragons, and our game master actually gave us a copy of this, so that seemed, appropriate. It's less Dungeons and Dragons focused actually than I would have guessed from the title. If you don't actually know anything about it, you just like fantasy, I think you'd still enjoy this one because it tends to be more general terms. A is for adventure. Our journey has begun. B is for book, the source of all our fun. C is for creatures of every shape and size. D is for dungeon master, who helps our imaginations rise. For the most part, as you can kind of already see, it's fairly general fantasy terms. I actually kind of expected it to be more like D is for dragonborn, and E is for elf, and P is for Fandalar. There we go, the Lost Mines. Somebody is reading the Lost Mines of Fandalar in one of these pictures. I don't remember where. Oh, there it is, the Lost Mine of Fandalar. That's the game we were playing. I think it's like a major intro to D&D game that people do, so that's kind of fun. Anyway, the point is it's actually fairly general fantasy terms. J is for journey, time to wander down the trail. L is for lost, so it's time to head for home. Although there's a logical flaw in that, if you're lost. So I think this one would be fun for anyone who enjoys fantasy, whether they're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons or not. It is all child appropriate. Our game master, we don't actually use the term dungeon master, I think they're interchangeable though, checked that before he bought it for us, which I appreciate. So there's nothing that's going to be inappropriate for your child, even though Dungeons and Dragons is a grown-up game, really. R is for Ravenloft, where spooky stories scare. that's about as grown up as this particular book gets, I'd say. There's a little bit of character in that we keep following the same kids. I think you can kind of see there some of them. Nice diversity too, a little bit of variety of age and gender and color and everything going on. I kind of like she's got fake elf ears, that's sort of fun. So it does, yeah, see, and then some of the same ones show up on later pages. So there's a little bit of character going on here. There's some funny pictures as well. Here's a few more. I is for imagination, because of course it is. So it's a very entertaining alphabet book. I mean, it's not much of a plot. It's basically ABC, but that's what you expect from this book. So that is fine. V is for villains, naturally. My favorite though is X is for XP, or experience points, if you do not watch or play Dungeons and Dragons. And that's a pretty clever way to go about that too. Oh, I also enjoyed that this one rhymes. This one, no rhymes. That's okay. This one has little rhymes with each letter, so it's always a little more fun to read the rhyming ones, I think. And I like the art style on this one as well. I mean, it's your basic cartoon, really, but it's nice artwork, and I do like how the recurring characters are in it from page to page. So those are a couple of alphabet books I've been enjoying. Leave a comment if you've read another one that you would recommend, because I'm certainly looking for more of those. I don't actually expect my baby to learn the alphabet for, a few years probably, but for right now, I'm enjoying them, so why not? And he's just starting to at least look at the pages. So we got to set him up right for the future, right? So thanks for watching. Again, I'm Cheryl Mahoney, and I blog at Tales of the Marvelous. Mostly about books for grown-ups, but sometimes picture books. And if you have a recommendation, please let me know.